or hurt, but I mean, at least his biceps will be thanking him.
I'm sore just watching them right now. Good morning and welcome to AMHQ early on this Tuesday, November 22nd. I'm meteorologist Kelly Cass. We've got more snow moving into the central U.S. for some of you and lingering lake effect snow across the Northeast.
Good morning. I'm Ana Rodriguez. We're also tracking severe weather in the forecast. We've got a torcon of 3 in Texas. Right. But let's get you started with the holiday travel forecast because we do have snow out there this morning in Minnesota.
Yes, across Syracuse, the New York State Thruway, up 81 into the Tug Hill as well. So we're not quite done yet. Minneapolis, we are just getting started on another storm that is moving in from the west. As Ana Rita said, we've got snow in some parts of Minnesota, north of St. Cloud. This lovely shade of purple back here in the western part of the state, that is not what we want to see on a weather map. That is an indication of some freezing rain and some sleet that is currently moving across the western part of the state. Thankfully, it's very light, and we're not expecting a huge accumulation of that. Remember, it takes about 1/4 of an inch of ice to really cause some disruptions and some problems out there, but we're not thinking it's going to be that heavy. There's a look at 90, certainly being impacted by some of that wintry mix. You get back towards Sioux Falls, it looks like just some cold raindrops for you, but all of this is kind of closing in on the Twin Cities, and that's why that winter weather advisory goes from today right through tomorrow morning. That lovely shade of pink right there, that's your wintry mix. We get even a little bit of rain, plain old rain, into the picture across southern Minnesota before the cold air wraps in around the backside and changes it back over to snow before it finally tapers off and comes to an end. When all is said and done, the thicker the cold air you have in that layer of the atmosphere, it's going to stay all snow. So some of these northern areas will be able to accumulate more snow. In that purple shade, we're talking 5 to 8 inches. Some parts of Minnesota could see as much as 3 to 5 inches of snow, including you guys in the Twin Cities. So here's your forecast. A little bit icy out there today, possibly even plain old rain for a little while before it changes back over to snow tonight down to 32 and still some snow showers tomorrow with temperatures in the mid-30s. And I just mentioned, torcons have been raised to about a 3. They were running around 2, but now about a 30% chance of seeing tornadoes across this region. For now, nothing severe about the showers that we're seeing for now west of Oklahoma City, down 35 into Dallas. Things are pretty quiet, but later today we do expect those ingredients to come together. We've got that trough ejecting out of the west, limited moisture moving up through the Lone Star State. The dew points are generally in the mid-50s with actual air temperatures in the 60s, and it's right between the cold front and warm front. That's our warm sector where you have more instability and therefore the chance to see some thunderstorms that could turn severe. So make sure you've got a way to get those warnings, especially a lot of people are traveling. You may not know what county you're in. You got to be aware of where you are and where to go to seek shelter. So Dallas, Fort Worth, all the way down to Riverwalk and San Antonio. This is the danger zone, if you will, where we have the better chance for seeing some severe thunderstorms. That doesn't mean we couldn't see a severe storm elsewhere. We'll be watching Arkansas, the parishes of Louisiana later on tonight. Up towards St. Louis and Kansas City, it's just going to be a rainy day for you along 70. And then as we get into the day tomorrow along 40 in Tennessee, there will be that chance for rain. Also moving into Birmingham, unfortunately, a lot of that kind of evaporates by the time it reaches into Atlanta, but we can't rule out the possibility of a few rain showers, especially in North Georgia where the wildfires are going, by the way. So here's a look at Dallas. The timing for you looks like storms isolated today, thunderstorms later this evening more likely, but then tomorrow the sun is back out, temperatures in the upper 60s.
It being more than 100 miles away, but as you know, earthquakes can be very powerful.
Yeah, and unpredictable, really. Thanks, Ana Rita. We're going to take a look, though, at the Northeast, where of course we've done it all, but it's really not going to be enough to take care of some of these huge deficits that we are finding. For cities like Atlanta, we're down over 11 inches, almost 12 inches at this point. Huntsville, Alabama, down a foot. Birmingham, down nearly a foot. Chattanooga, well, look at that. We're down nearly 21 inches for the year so far. So it's going to take a lot to come out of these kinds of holes. And unfortunately, the forecast is not looking all that great in terms of the kind of rainfall we need. The darker red, that is your worst category of drought, the exceptional drought category. We've got watering restrictions in a lot of places now, including the Atlanta metro on up toward North Georgia, wells running dry. So this is not a good situation because if you go back to September 1st, most of the time we have been rain free. We're talking 76 days of no rain in Atlanta, 93% of the time, no rain. All right, so we've kind of gotten accustomed to it. Let's see if we've got holiday, and of course we got shopping on Friday, and then of course the weekend, football games and all that sort of stuff. Today it's the rain right here in the middle, even severe storms across Texas and Oklahoma. Can't rule out the possibility of some isolated tornadoes with this either, so just be mindful of that. Have a way to get those warnings. Here's a look at that wintry weather up to the north on Wednesday. Big travel day here. Snowy conditions around Rhinelander, Chicago. There could be some rain delays at O'Hare. there. That rain will push into the northeast for Thanksgiving Day itself. Right now for the parade in New York, it's just looking cloudy, and thankfully the winds are not going to be strong either, and that's really a consideration with the balloons. There's a little bit of snow wrapping in the backside of that as well. Still looks unsettled for shopping on Friday. We get into the weekend now with a wintry mix right along the New York State Thruway down toward the southeast. Not much rain at all. Finally, by Sunday, we see some rain moving across the south and another system moving into the west coast as well.
Just the bottom of the hour on this Tuesday. Good morning to you. Welcome back to AMHQ Early. We're tracking the numbers, checking everything that, all the snow that fell in upstate New York.
40 inches.
That's wild. And there's more snow on the way.
Yeah, Lacona, that's east of Lake Ontario, picking up more than 3 feet of snow, you guys. And it's still coming down across the Tug Hill. We'll check on the radar in just a second. First, though, heroes every day this week as we lead through this Thanksgiving week. And what we're thankful for are the people that do things for others. Here is a look at our Tuesday weather map. Lots of colors. The red down here in Texas and Oklahoma, chance for severe storms, even the chance for some isolated tornadoes. You've got rainy skies from Kansas City to Des Moines, but once you get up into Minnesota, yeah, you run into that wintry mix, freezing rain, sleet. Blue is all snow way to the north, where you have the potential to see as much as 5 or 6 inches accumulating here. Even Minneapolis, if you get ice or rain today, the backside has some snow wrapping back in around, so we'll find some of that accumulating. Wednesday, a big travel day. Chicago, we've got the rain, could be delays at O'Hare. Another system working into the west coast from Seattle right on down to Eureka, California, where there will be some snow in the higher elevations and snow pushing through the Wasatch as well. Great news for the ski resorts trying to open up this Thanksgiving week. Here is Thanksgiving Day itself. Of course, we've got to watch this rain getting close to New York City, but the good news is the winds are going to be relatively light, and that's really a concern for the balloons, of course, over the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade, the 90th year, by the way. How about that? A little bit of snow showing up in the upstate of New York, snow coming through Wisconsin as we head towards Black Friday, doing some shopping out there. Here's a look at Chicago. You've got cloudy skies in 45 heading down to the Mall of Georgia. Lenox, Phipps, and Atlanta looking dry and mild, by the way. Temps back into the 70s, and then we drop it down to the 60s on Saturday. Saturday, we feature a little bit of a wintry mix still across upstate New York, depending on where you are, elevation-wise, and also temperature-wise. You'll see that we're mainly dry, though, for the big cities. Big travel day on Sunday, trying to make your way home from the Thanksgiving feast. It looks dry for a good stretch of 95, but right here in the middle, we got to slow it down with that rainfall out there. Well, shoveling snow in just a singlet